I'm excited to introduce you to my friend and mentor and teacher in Ignite Therapy, Krystal. Nikki. So, what I really want to know from you is what are some of the key principles within Ignite Therapy that really, after having done it, learned it, experienced it, this is a lot of questions. How has it changed your life?
In every single way possible.
Okay.
Main ways, I'd say it has helped me integrate a non-victim vibration into my body and lift me mentally, emotionally, spiritually into a place where I can take action in a way that is true and authentic to myself. And there's a lot of tools out there that are really great and can help you with parts of those, and some more effective than others. But my goal as I have worked with clients has been to just be as effective as possible in helping them achieve that. Be able to take what they experience in a session and actually do something with it in their physical life and in their future, that they are able to take away, let go of, process, breathe through, move all of those things psychologically, and then integrate them into the body so that it actually becomes their new reality.
Wow. All right. So what is it that you actually do in a session that causes that shift, that really opens up that opportunity?
That's a great question. I think that we were created by an extremely wise being, and all of that is actually just in our cellular makeup. And it's very simple. It was designed in a way that we are able to access it if we just have a little bit of intuition and some tools.
Okay, so is that something that you help with your intuition clients to see within themselves, or do you help them become more intuitive?
The goal is for them to be empowered through figuring things out themselves and coming up with their own answers from within themselves. I sure can see things in a session, and a lot of times that's none of my business to say. And it's so much more effective anyway if you come up with your own solutions to your problems.
Okay. So if someone were to come to you for the first time to have an Ignite Therapy session, how would you introduce them to what you do and prepare them?
Well, we start out talking about some of the things that are a little more common and comfortable, like massage is a very common use of body, physical, somatic therapy. And it has some similar things. And we talk about how they're going to be somewhat undressed, and we're going to be using oil, and we're going to be talking. And a lot of the things I want them to pay attention to is their breathing, how they feel, what kind of thoughts and emotions come up for them as we are working. And I invite them to, if they would like, do some processing with me, or if they want, they can just breathe and they can still do a lot of processing on their own if they feel more private about it and don't want to share. We always start out in a sitting position because we want to clear out their lymphatic system and get it ready to do a bunch of work. And we work with gravity there with the lymphatic system starting at the top of the head and neck. And once we do that, I kind of just use our interview that we talk about in the beginning of why they're there to figure out where next, or just completely ignore what they told me and tune into what their body is saying that they need the most. And so we kind of just move from either that sitting position, work some more on other body parts, or they move onto the massage table. Everything is completely covered. There's nothing that should be awkward. And emotionally, it's really important to me that they always feel safe. So we take it at their pace and work in a way that is helpful to them, instead of me just trying to bulldoze through every session of what I know I can accomplish. It's not about me. It's about what they're there for and what they can receive, what their ability to shift in a session is. So we gauge it by that and do everything we can to help them shift from where they are to be where they want to be, and take that with them when they go. And also take the tools that they learned in the session with them, that they can be empowered and do it on their own. I don't want them to have to be coming to me for everything that they need. I want them to learn how this works and to be able to apply it.
So are you teaching them what you're doing to them so that they can do more with it when
Yes.
they're not with you?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not just an experience that you're providing, you're actually giving somebody tools to go home with.
Yes, I actually hate it when I go get an amazing session and I'm like, how did that happen? I don't know how to repeat that, and I need it right now, and I can't go have a session with that person right now. And my whole goal with all healing work is for people to become self-empowered. I don't want them to rely on me, or what I really want them to do is figure out how to process themselves, to understand themselves, because I don't even want them to have to rely on Ignite therapy. All of us are totally capable of being able to heal and just be connected to ourselves, our creator, and the earth, and everything we need is just given to us through breath. But if we understand what it feels like, because we had that session that we used physical elements with, it really just empowers them to be like, okay, I'm just going to tune into how I feel in an Ignite session and do that right now. And that is what I want for people. I want them to be able to take it and use it whatever way they need that is the most effective for them.
Okay. How would somebody know that an Ignite session would be beneficial for them?
If they're human, if they have a body, if they struggle ever with negative emotions, if they ever feel defeated, or like they don't have enough power to change things in their life, any of those things,
So
you're qualified.
okay. So maybe having a blind spot
Sure.
would be a good time to know.
Well, you can use Ignite therapy when you're struggling, and you can use it when you feel strong. Either way, your psyche is always willing to show you something that will help you further on your path. So anytime is a good time to get one. Although, of course, people are usually showing up in my massage room when they are really struggling.
Okay, so at what point did you find Ignite therapy in your life? What were you going through that drew you in, that was like inspiring?
Well, the first time was when I had a session of creative healing, the Stephenson method, when I was maybe 16. I was going through health challenges, and I didn't know, because I was just a really unaware 16-year-old, that I was going through a lot of emotional challenges. And when I had that first session, it was life-changing. I knew that I had released like mountains of pressure and weight that I had been carrying, and that I wanted more of that. I had received massage and chiropractics and craniosacral and foot zoning, just the more common body work that is in the area where I live. And I loved all of those things. They were enjoyable. But I could tell that this had released massive amounts of subconscious and generational programming. And I hadn't really experienced that level before. So I knew that this was unique and that I needed more of it in my life. I had no idea about becoming a practitioner or adding to and incorporating other things into the creative healing method. But I did know that it was something I was going to be definitely repeating as much as possible throughout my life because of how much it helped me.
Okay. So not only is it hands-on, like using oils and a massage table, but it also helps you emotionally and generationally clear.
Yes, as long as that is your intent as a practitioner. I went to a very wonderful woman who had a lot of training physically and not a lot of training energetically, and still, because my intention was to heal, and I was more trained and practiced and experienced with the emotional energy work. Her intention combined with my intention equaled the huge shift that I had.
Okay. Do you mind sharing any bits of what that shift was for you?
Sure. I had a lot of programming as a young child that it was my job to keep the peace and to ignore negative things going on in my family. And in this session, I recognized a lot of pain and burden that I had been carrying about my dad's death, and feeling that it was my job to kind of carry that weight and everybody else's and be the peacemaker and just try and fix everybody's emotions, which is way too heavy for anyone on the planet to carry. It's like Atlas. You can't do that. It's not healthy. It will crush you. We aren't designed to do that. And I kind of tuned into a piece of that, and that was some things going on with my stepdad that I wasn't able to get the support, and I wasn't heard that I needed to really move forward. So I was feeling quite stuck. And it's mostly the emotions that I felt that were keeping me stuck. It wasn't anyone else. And being able to have that session, a lot of things cleared in my cranium, and I had very frequent headaches, and I was there because I was injured in sports, and I felt my spine completely align and all of this heat move out of my back and top of my head, and I just started sobbing. It totally caught me off guard, and I could feel the emotions that I was processing were that pain and anguish of, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm stuck with these emotions. I'm stuck in this role that I'm playing in my family, and I don't know how to do anything different, but I really want peace. I really want empowerment. I really just want to be left alone because I just felt really bullied. And afterwards, I didn't get to a place where I felt empowered, but I did get to a place where I felt at peace, and that I didn't have to carry that burden that I had been carrying for so long. I took like a 2-hour nap on the couch while my mom got worked on after me, and I felt like a completely different person when I woke up. It was one of those naps where you just drooled everywhere and you went to a completely different planet, and you wake up and you're just like, I don't know what happened, but this is so much better than where I was a couple hours ago, and I want to stay here and I want to go further.
Wow. Yeah. Do you feel like that was the beginning of just a life-changing events that continue to take place in your life?
Yes. So far, up to that point, I had not been able to get help with the injuries that I was going through, and I didn't want to stop my sport. I was a teenager and I was having fun. So to me, it was like, well, if I want to keep on doing the fun things I'm doing, and if I'm going to keep on living in this family that I'm in, I love them, I'm just struggling with some things, I got to keep doing this. I got to keep doing this to be able to move forward and keep living my life the way I want to live it.
Wow. So instead of sacrificing your lifestyle and your way of being, you were willing to make some changes.
Yes, I could see that it was going to make the changes easy for me and doable, because I wasn't carrying so much and all those obligations and expectations that I just made up in my head.
Wow. And how long had those feelings and beliefs been there? You mentioned your father having passed away. How long ago had that been from that moment?
Well, it had been 8 years since I had been experiencing that new dynamic of family, and and then my dad passed away when I was 6, so 10 years.
Wow.
Of just being in that mindset and that reality where it was really unpleasant, and I didn't know there was anything else. So I kind of woke up that day and realized, wow, there's freedom, there's peace. I can let go.
Even after 10 years, something shifted. And how long was your appointment, your first appointment?
That's a good question. Maybe an hour and a half.
And all that happened in that amount of time, plus a 2-hour drooling nap.
Yes, I think all that really happened the last 15 minutes of the session. Before that, it was just a lot of prep work.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is there anything that could have prepared you for that session?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was aware enough of so many things going on inside of me that I could have set an intention I just wanted to not be in pain. That's it.
Wow.
That's all I came with.
And was that just emotional or was that physical?
Just wanted to get out of physical pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, even with that release of physical pain, did you notice other shifts and changes in your behavior you mentioned this role that you've taken on, and with that being gone, what other changes did you notice moving forward?
Well, I was actually a little frustrated because we didn't work on the thing that I came to get worked on. And I was happy that I got a lot of cool shifts and felt so amazing after, but I was like, I still have this injury that we didn't really work on it. I wasn't ready to work on it yet. And moving forward in sessions after that, I know that I started to just have my mind opened up to there is more than all these other things I've tried that are limited. There is kind of this unlimited power in this new therapy that I'm getting. And so I really wanted to explore it because I felt like it had just this unlimited potential that I wanted to tap into. I really think that's the main shift. And it took me a few years until I really was open to seeing more of that potential. We're so limited. We just think that life is what we see. And the more that my mind and heart opened to the potential that I could experience with it myself and also give to other clients as I worked on them, that's really what opened up my mind, because they had different limiting beliefs than I did. So they experienced things that I was like, didn't even know that was possible. And it just happened. And I did it. I didn't really do it, but I helped facilitate it. How'd that happen? And so I really wanted to just get in deeper, dive deeper and deeper and deeper until I could figure out how this is happening and how can I make it work even better for people, and how do I get out of the way so that there is unlimited potential.
So what I hear you saying is that sometimes we get in the way of our potential. Is that what you're saying?
For sure.
Okay. So in this experience of you at 16, getting your first session, having a life transformational experience, and then how long was it before you decided to learn
how to do it?
Yeah.
Well, the woman that we went to invited me within a year to come to one of her classes, and I was like, are you sure I'm old enough? I'm like 17. She's like, of course, you can learn it. It's easy. I'm like, well, it seems really complicated and cool what you're doing. Are you sure? And my mom and I both signed up for a class, and that was extremely eye-opening. I didn't realize I had the potential that I had to help people in a way that was beautiful and mind-blowing, and that I could help other people have the kind of shifts that I had experienced without really knowing very much. I just learned some very basic things in 6 weeks. That was it. That was the class.
Wow.
Once a week, half a day, watch the videos, read the book, practice on someone. They practice on me, and now I'm a practitioner.
Wow.
But amazing things still happened in that class, and happened within the next 6 months while we were supposed to get all of our practice hours in. And I knew that this was going to be a part of my life forever because it was just that valuable.
Wow.
Not sure if I answered your question.
I think you did.
Okay.
I asked how long had it been since you had experienced your first session to learning the technique and becoming a practitioner. So it was 1 year later. And what would you say, other than your own miraculous shifts, that you have just loved seeing happen in others?
Well, honestly, the shifts that I experienced then were very minimal and small in comparison to the shifts that I've experienced since then using Ignite therapy, and that I've seen clients experience using Ignite therapy. So it's a little funny to me that we're talking about that one. I've seen people have way better and more powerful transformations than I did. But maybe I just can't judge where their psyche level is and where mine was. But I think as a practitioner, it has been the most mind-blowing experience to just see person after person come in, beat down and slow and feeling broken in certain ways in their life, and to leave feeling like they got this. They totally know what to do. They're connected to themselves. They feel like they can be inspired from that point on. They feel like they remember who they really are, and they don't need to be anything but their authentic self, and they can accomplish all the things and work out all of the issues with relationships or whatever it may be, all on their own, because they are now connected inside and connected to their body, and they can listen to it and feed it in the way that it needs, and to honor it and honor themselves. And they can have the boundaries that they need moving forward. They just, whatever it is that they needed, they can get that in a session, and then they can use it. And I love seeing that transformation. It's a little bit addicting to just see that in people's lives. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, a little bit of a high.
Yeah, you're so happy for them.
Yeah. So this reminds me of what you mentioned in the beginning about that victim energy, is that when you're empowering someone, how does somebody know that they've really stepped out of that victim energy, and even recognizing that they're in it? Because I'm sure there's been lots of times, I know there's been times where I've been in that victim energy and I didn't even know it. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I stepped out of it, like this transition where I feel so much more empowered now than I did before. But not only how do you take somebody through that process, but how are they going to recognize that shift when it happens?
Earlier you called it a blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we all are in a cage in some way in our life, and that we don't see. We're blocked. We have walls. We have whatever, things for safety, things that we're not ready to see yet. And whatever is ready to be seen, or whatever cage it is that we are ready to walk out of because we have the keys, those things come to you while you are working. Your body presents that information to you. It's very easy. It seems like that could be such a hard thing. Spend years in talk therapy or whatever, trying to figure yourself out so that they know what to do with it. And a lot of that, the body just presents that information, probably like frozen. Water has memory. Our body is mostly water. And that information is really all we need. We need to get in touch with that vibration of that emotion, that memory, that piece of us that when we were a child that needs the nurture and love that we can give it now as an adult. And when we tune into that and we receive that information ourselves, the practitioner doesn't need to do anything. You realize, oh wow, I've had this block, I've had this belief, I've put myself in relationships where I keep being treated this way. Whatever it is, whatever aha you need to be able to see that blind spot, it just comes very naturally, and there's not really a lot that you need to do to make it happen. The body is completely, perfectly designed to be able to present information to us that we need in order to have a transformation. Whatever transformation that is that we're ready for, and that we can now make a physical change in our life. Like you said, a lot of times we don't know we're in victim mode. We don't know we're in a relationship that we're just banging our head on the wall going, why am I doing this? And that information is inside of us. It will be presented, and then you get to choose what to do with it. There's always choice.
So while you were talking, there's some parts of me that, like, the feeling of, that intensity of like, well, what if there's something I don't know that I don't know? Like, what do I do with that when it comes to my attention?
You'll know what to do with it. That's the second half of it. That's so amazing. First, you'll know what the problem is. Second, you'll know what to do about it. And that may not come instantly in the session, but it can come over the period of time that you're working, or it might need to come over a period of several sessions. Luckily, our body doesn't give us too much that will just knock us on the floor at once. It's very wise in the way that it presents the things that we're ready to shift from. So it'll be perfect, whatever we need. If it's a small thing, or if it's something that we just really are completely ready to change, it'll be brought to our attention. And we can trust that the process is designed perfectly. That always does.
Okay. So there's the intelligence that you're working with somebody's mind, with their heart, their emotions, and then this body that is communicating. And in essence, are you communicating with the body, or are you communicating with the person? Because there's so many dynamics in there. Which ones are you utilizing in the process?
All of them.
All of them.
I feel like that's a lot of the limitation of other modalities, is that we're communicating with one piece. Western medicine, I'm so grateful for it. It has saved my life, and every day I get to live because of Western medicine being very only working on the physical body. But of course, that has left other things that need healing. And when you get a foot zone, maybe there's something that didn't get addressed. With Ignite Therapy, my intention in the way that I designed it was that it would address all pieces. So when I start a session, my intention is to connect with all pieces, past, present, future, all the generations, physical, mental, emotional, all of our spirit. We need that information from all of those parts to be able to get a good picture and to be able to address the things that matter the most. If I just work on one piece, that's great. I'll feel better, but it's going to come back.
What exactly would be coming back? Would it be the pain?
Could be the physical element. Our body is a great map to just let us know what's going on in our psyche and that we're not dealing with. A lot of times that's where we start, is we look at the body. People are coming and saying, got this and this issue with my body. How do we work on that? And then we address it physically. We start with the physical aspect, the creative healing from Joseph Stephenson. And then the other parts open up, because that's my intent. And I've connected to their psyche, also their aura. We're communicating, maybe it could be out loud, but a lot of that's happening telekinesis. And I'm tuning into what they need. And then that information is presented, whether it's from spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical. You can talk to bodies. It's great. All elements have intelligence. So whichever piece needs to be heard, you can hear that as the practitioner. There's training in the Ignite Therapy program on how to do that. And it's very simple.
So could anybody learn this?
Anyone can learn it. You don't have to be gifted. You don't have to be like real great at this or that. I actually feel like it would be the most ideal planet ever if we had someone in every household that understood these principles and knew enough to be able to help the people around them. Someday.
What kind of difference do you think it would make in their homes as far as the degree of healing, if it is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual? How do you see that in the long term affecting our relationship with Western medicine?
Empowerment. A lot of Western medicine is based on the doctor is going to fix you. There's no accountability for what you've done to create your problem.
Oh,
it's so nice. But it doesn't work that way. It does not. And there's no empowerment in handing over your choices that you've made with your health over to someone else to fix, because you'll just continue to make those same decisions. Or maybe you'll make different ones, but they will in some way bring back an issue in your body, because that core foundation of where the problem came from is still there. So as we take a page from the Chinese and we learn more about the psyche and how our emotions are affecting our body energetically, and the patterns that we're in and the choices that we make subconsciously, those things really contribute heavily to our physical state of being. So of course I can get something just cut out of my body, but I need to go to the root cause and figure out, what does my body need? What does my spirit need? What do my relationships need from me, so that I can be more my authentic, true self and honor myself?
Is there something that you find is typically the root of the majority of people's ailments?
like a common one.
Just a common one. Not that it has to always be that, but
Yes, I mainly work with women. I know men and women have a lot of similar issues. During our childhood, a lot of us experience the, uh-oh, I'm bad, I'm not loved, I'm not wanted, I made a mistake, so I must not be enough. And I think a lot of our pain is just built around that core pain. That core, what's the word? Trauma. But what do they call it in astrology?
a core wound or
Core wound. Yes. A lot of our pain is based around that core wound from our childhood of there's something wrong with me. And then it kind of builds our perception of the world and ourselves and our higher power. So there's a lot to dismantle there. It'll take us a lifetime. Good thing we have one.
So if somebody starts late in life, what would you recommend for them to give them hope that it's worth doing the work?
Definitely, I would incorporate physical aspects to their emotional healing. A lot of things have become so ingrained as we grow older that it's hard to really open up to the possibility of anything else being true. And as we feel our body shift, that encourages our mind to believe maybe I can emotionally and mentally shift also. Maybe I can make these changes, because really it's our limiting beliefs that keep us stuck. And the longer that we're in those limiting beliefs, they can feel really hardcore and hard to get out of. But it's not true. It's just a belief that you're older, so it's harder. It can be if that's something that you believe. It doesn't have to be.
So by utilizing Ignite therapy on a physical level, it allows people to shift those beliefs?
Yes, a lot of work that I did with tapping and trying to change the way that I feel about something just suddenly became so much easier when I incorporated using the Stephenson method and pulled together a few other really key principles into Ignite therapy. I like easy. I'm a really big fan. And anyone can do that. Ignite therapy is just an amazing tool that makes it doable, makes it easy to make those shifts that I'm sure a lot of people on our planet are making already, and a lot are going to be joining us in that shift and changing themselves and opening up their mind to different possibilities.
Okay. Where do you think the world is shifting toward? And why?
Healing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Ask your question again.
That was it. Go on. So.
Our world is healing. There is a lot of opposite of healing going on also.
Yeah.
But I feel like those two polar opposites are pulling further and further apart. And the healing will be what outweighs all of the pain and the things that are so blatant in our faces right now. That healing will become what our world experiences as a whole.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me about Ignite therapy and what it has to offer, and you as Ignite therapist, and understanding its core capabilities, and in all the simplicity of it, and that everybody and anybody can learn it, and that it makes it possible for no matter how old you are to receive healing, to have transformation, to have your mind be more moldable, and to change the beliefs that you had to create more possibilities in life. And that's what I hear you saying, and just the difference that it's made in your life and the differences that you continue to see in other people's lives. And I just want to thank you so much, Krystal, for coming here and for sharing your heart and sharing your message and what you came here to do. Little did you know that session that you received at 16 would change your life so much, and the opportunity that you have to change so many other lives, including my own. So thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.